Hello all, welcome to 7 Days to Die. I figured with the full release of the game, we'd have a lot of new players in. This would be a good time to kind of do a little tutorial on the core mechanics of the game, the basics of getting started, um, building a good horde base, things like that for the new players. This is not going to be some crazy walkthrough, max horde size, insane difficulty, things like that. This is going to be just kind of like a back to basics walkthrough for new players. To get started, I've got the patch notes state that they've got it pretty well optimized for video. Whenever I did a sample game, it had me on ultra everything. I do not have a high-end computer. It's probably mid-level. We'll see how this works. A lot of times you get into the big cities, and especially go into the high rises and stuff, and it gets pretty laggy, but this will be a good test. Let's see how well they've optimized the game. For the settings, this is going to be your new game menu. You're going to create your save, your game world. I'm going to do it on Navigaine, which I have not played on the Navigaine map in years, but I figured opening a walkthrough, might as well go with the original 7 Days world. This is kind of the core world. You can also do new random worlds. You can do pre-gens, which is just pre-generated worlds. The size is down here. It goes anywhere from 6,000, I believe, to 10,000 by 10,000, something like that. It can get pretty big. You really don't, I'm sorry, it goes to 4,000. You really don't, unless you're doing like some big multiplayer, you don't need the 10,240 world size. You're just going to spend a lot of time traveling. It's not necessary. If I'm doing a new random world, I usually do the 8192. That's a good size, but like I said, we're going to do Navigaine, and that's 6x6, which is plenty big enough for a walkthrough. For your difficulty, it starts you out in an adventurer, which I'd highly recommend so you get used to the game. Just for the sake of a little bit of a challenge, I'm going to turn mine up to Nomad, but I won't go any higher than that. Everything else stays the same. I keep the same. On your basic, this is kind of your blood moon and your zombie difficulty settings. Blood moon count, the default is going to be 8 enemies. Once again, for your first couple of blood moons, it wouldn't hurt. I'd go ahead and leave it there. It just to make things a little more interesting. I'm going to turn mine up to 16. If I go up past that, if I go to 32, I start to get pretty laggy. But 16 is a good number. It'll keep you busy on Horde Night. Everything else, I keep the exact same. Do yourselves a favor, zombie feral sense. Do not turn it on. I can turn on day, but do not turn it on night. If you take a step, you're going to have 10 zombies standing on your door. I usually just keep it off. Number one, if you're going to do something where you want to do any kind of sneaking, even if you have it on day, they're going to, as soon as you walk in the door, they're going to know you're there. I mean, it's just when you're messing around in your base, you don't want to be constantly fighting zombies. For the advanced settings, I kept everything default except for loot respawn time. I believe default is 7 days. I don't like that. I think that's kind of cheating. I just like to disable it. So if I've looted it, I've looted it, and that's it. When you're accepting quests, if you accept a quest on a building or POI you've already looted, it'll reset. So you're covered there. Multiplayer, you don't really need to worry about right now. The full release version hasn't even come out yet, so multiplayer isn't even an option here. But if you do get into a multiplayer server, that's where this stuff would come into play. That's about it for the settings, and we'll resume once my new world launches. Alright guys, we're ready to spawn in. Another patch, they says they sped up the time it took to generate a new world, and It's by no means quick, but it is definitely faster than it used to be. So we're going to spawn into this new world, hopefully pretty quickly. And we'll see where the game puts us. Now this game will probably spawn you in virtually the same spot every time, which is good for new players. You can kind of learn the lay of the land. And you always check your bird's nest here in the beginning. Pick up every single thing you can, really, for the whole game. My habit, and you're going to learn, especially if you're using a keyboard, learn your shortcuts. To loot all you have to do is press R. It's just much faster as far, for me. Loot R, you hit tab, go into your menu or your inventory, and you can always kind of clean it up, but I think it's faster to do it this way than to pick and choose and drag, especially when you never know when you might have a zombie coming up. You got two types of resources here you can punch. This one's going to give you plant fibers. These little dry looking things, they give you wood. The advantage of that is you can punch those. It's much faster than trying to get wood out of a tree. And I don't know if it's still a thing, but punching a tree used to damage you. Let's see if that's still a thing. No, it don't look like it hurts you anymore, but it is much slower than just punching those little twigs and getting your stuff that way. Now the game, if you look up there in the top right, it's going to tell you to open up your challenges window. This is a new little quest system to get you started. You do that with the Y key. And up here it's got your basics of survival. All the things you have to do to get that reward. Okay, if it's highlighted in green, it means it's ready to redeem. Get a little bit of XP. As you complete each one, then you'll get even more of a reward. I believe these down here, I have not, full disclosure, I have not actually played this all the way through. I have seen some other ones. I think the rest of these, you go and turn it into a trader and you get a special reward for them. It's like this one right here. We need to gather one more wood and we'll have that one done. And you can see, since this is the active quest, it's highlighted. Wood points, as soon as I have the minimum number, it goes away. Okay, and it's going to tell me to craft a stone axe. You hit tab. Far left here is your crafting menu. Stone axe, craft. There you go. Right here I can redeem this one. I can redeem this one. Next, you need to harvest some stone and some wood. Right here we got the newly skinned stone rocks, which I think look much cooler than they did before. Go and get 10 of those harvested up. Okay, so the stone used to break down into 3 stages. Now it's just one, which I honestly prefer. Makes a little more sense. Once you busted it, you busted it. Go and cut down this whole tree. Definitely need wood. Once you've cut down the tree, you'll see in your inventory, you not only get the wood, but you get a seed, 2 seeds. You can replant these or just drop them. I usually just drop them because I think it's kind of stupid to be able to plant a tree that regrows in like a week. But your call. that. Okay, now it's telling me to craft a primitive outfit. Go up here, and this is the biggest change to the full release, is the armor. They've done away with clothing, and now they have armor and armor sets that you can craft. I think it's a much better system. It used to be there were 3 types of armor. You had light, medium, and heavy, and that was it. Now there's multiple different sets of armor for light, medium, or heavy. And each, if you get the set, it comes with its own unique bonuses to match your playstyle. So it's a much more involved and much better system. Now that I've got this guy here, I can click on it, click where. We'll see my guy. There's my guy. There I am. Okay. Let's see. If you go here and click on it, you can see your light armor rating, any penalties that come with it. The heaviest armor is going to have more of a stamina, mobility, and noise increase punishment. Okay, now they want me to craft a wooden club. So we'll craft that guy up. Hotbar management is, everybody has their own way. Always want my melee weapon at 1, and then working my way down. Now they want me to craft a bow. You can see here what it requires. Craft those. I'll bet they're going to want some arrows. Let's look around a little bit here. See if we can find us a couple more of those nests. Regardless of what playstyle you choose, it's always a good idea early game. Go ahead and craft that bow and some arrows. You need some kind of a ranged option early on, just to keep you safe, especially till you start getting, into some sort of a gun. And I will say, with 7 days, they've done a really good job of balancing the attack styles. Each one is honestly, I would say, equally good. It's the part of the fun, part of the reason why I have so many hours in this game is you can switch to whichever one you want and end up with, a playthrough that you can manage. What I am going to do on this one, because personally I think for someone brand new to the game getting started, probably the best play style, anytime you see these camping chairs, pick them up, go to your menu, and scrap them. You get 15 iron for each. I do have a magazine here. On all these magazines, and this is how you progress in the skills. Used to be back in the good old days, you progress in a skill as you used an item. Now it's all done through books, which I'm not crazy about, but it is what it is. What you're going to do is, if this book here is closed, you have not read that one yet. So you're going to hit use, and you've leveled up 1 on the skill. Pumpkin seed I do not care for. I said I was going to start looking for nests, and I have looted everything else and not found a nest. Anyway, I'm going to do the strength skill tree. I think for a new player, it's the best one to do. Your skills are right over here. So you've got your character menu, you've got your map. You can also just hit M to pull up your map at any time. And you've got your skill trees. Each one, you got perception, strength, fortitude, agility, intellect, and then your books. and your crafting skills. These are your cores. Like I said, you can go into either any of them and have a playable character. I think starting out, somebody's just going to be grinding. That's going to be harvesting a bunch of resources, building your own stuff, kind of learning the basics of the game. Strength is the way to go. I do not have any skill points yet, but as I do, we'll start working on these and kind of. I just wanted to give you kind of a brief overview of the direction I'm going to go, and we'll get into more as I have the skills. I believe I'm going to end up with 3 or 4, something like that, once I finish up this initial batch of requests. So they wanted me to make some arrows. Click right over here and create the max. I've only got 3 feathers, so I can only make 3, but at least we can get through that challenge. Okay. Now we have done all of them now. So once again, definitely use your hotbars. W to redeem. It's just faster. Okay. And we're done. Alright. Tell me I did a good job. Now I need to go find the trader. I should probably... Now I've got 4 skill points up here. Okay. So like I said, I'm going to put 2 straight into strength. Okay. From here, you've got Pummel Peak. That's going to be your one-handed, your clubs. You've got Skull Crusher. That's going to be your two-handed. Sledgehammers, it's a trade-off. I'm going to do this one here just because the Pummel Peak, the one-handed, is better early game while you don't have much stamina. Sledgehammer's definitely better later on, but you get pretty big penalties in the stamina in the beginning. You'll end up running out of stamina in a bad spot, and then you're in trouble. This also has the heavy armor tree, shotguns, and the big thing here for the strength, other than the clubs, which I think are just a great melee weapon, but like I said, they're all pretty good. But is the resource gathering. The minor 69er increases the block damage on all of the items, and it reduces the stamina cost. The mother load gives you more. You harvest more per hit. So we're going to do 2 points. I always like to do 2 points into the Pummel Peak. I'll start working on these later, but I like to be able to do as much damage as possible early on. And we'll start heading over there toward that trader. Always hit your mailboxes. You'll find magazines there a lot. Very handy. Another tip, as you're moving around the world, anytime you see a tree stump, hit it. You've got a chance on here on these to get a honey. Let's see if I get one. I did not. As you take damage randomly, you will get an infection. The infection slowly increases. If it gets to 100%, you're dead. The honey will cure up to 5% of an infection. So it's good to hit those stumps and try to keep a honey on you at all times. If your infection is higher than 5%, it'll bring it down 5%, and then it'll start increasing again. These guys here, this is an iron vein. We'll get into that more later, because I'm not going to beat on an iron vein with this little wooden axe. Like I said, main thing, early game. I hate that it put me a kilometer away. Always be on the lookout. Always be looking to scavenge whatever you can. be a hoarder. It will benefit you in the end. You don't know what you need till you don't have it. Stump. Oh, no honey. Take advantage of that, collecting those feathers. As you're doing this traveling, you can go ahead and make you some more arrows. Quick way on crafting, what you can do is if you click on an item and click recipes, and it'll show you everything that you can make with that item type. So we're going to do stone arrow, go ahead and craft 14 more just to have. I'll do as much as I can with melee early, but there are times when that bow can be really handy to get you out of a jam, or when you're first going into a POI, you can do some sneak damage. There's a multiplier if you're undetected. It's good to get some early kills whenever you're going into a POI. Alright, this is the one. Everybody get ready for it. Bottom right. Here it comes. I lied. The water looks much better in the full release version. I don't know what it is with Fun Pimps, but they have a tough time with water, but it looks like they've gotten better. Always hit up cars in the road as you see them. Sometimes you can find some pretty good stuff in there. I will say I noticed on the patch notes too that they said, you know, looting and everything is going to, they're trying to make it scale more slowly to slow your progression down, which I'm fine with. You can also change that. You can change the loot abundance and things like that in the settings too if you want to kind of speed up your playthrough. I'll do that sometimes if I'm just wanting to mess around. You know, I'll turn the loot abundance up to 200 just to kind of speed it along, like I said. Boy, they pulled me way on out here. I'm already almost up to 20 minutes. I ain't made it to the trader yet. I'm going very slow, and I apologize for the pace. For any of you guys that have played the game, I'm doing a lot of talking and going a lot more slowly than you need. But like I said, I'm kind of gearing this toward the new player. You know, when I first started years ago, I used to watch little tutorials like this. A couple of guys that really took their time, walked you through it, and it helped me so much. The biggest thing I noticed is on the horde bases. I know that the first, you know, I didn't watch a lot of walkthroughs in the very beginning, in the first 6 or 8 playthroughs. I was just dreading day 7 because I knew what was coming. So I'm going to show you guys kind of a quick, easy horde base that honestly the beauty of it is it doesn't require any kind of ranged weaponry, so you don't have to worry about having a stockpile of ammo on day 7. Oh, I forgot about that too. This episode is not going to go all the way through. I think I'm probably going to change the horde night to every 3 days, just to kind of move it along, keep the recording interesting. But once again, I would highly recommend, until you get used to the game, keep it at 7 days. You'll need it. You'll need that time to stock up and lick your wounds. And I'll do that sometimes even now. You know, if I'm wanting to do a big build playthrough, then I'll keep it at 7 days. But if getting max kills is more your speed, you may want to turn that up after a couple of horde nights when you feel like you've got a pretty good handle on it. All right. We have finally arrived. Shut the door behind you. Because the zombies cannot damage the trader. You hear that noise? That means I can't touch it. It means I can't damage it. But if you leave a door open, they will come in and surprise you when you're not expecting it, which I guess is usually how surprises work. Kind of go through. You can go through the traders. A lot of these traders, they'll have some pretty good stuff in them. They always have a few crafting stations. Want to check it. Forge Ahead is, especially if you're going to do more of a crafting series, it's your bread and butter. You'll want to buy these every chance you get. The Forge Ahead and the Vehicle Adventures, you're going to want to buy from the traders too. You want to get those up as quickly as you can. A lot of times those crafting stations will have a Forge Ahead book in them. I'm used to looking for clothes. They used to have clothes on the alphas. You had clothes and armor. Food. That's nice. I might go ahead and eat that now. On your food, it shows how much food it provides, how much health, and if there's a chance for dysentery. Down here on your bottom, you've got this green bar is your food, blue is your water, purple is your progression to the next level. You can also go to your character, click on the stats, and it shows a numbered value for your food level and your water level. So go ahead and use that. Look around this trader. There's a cement mixer. We definitely want to search that. Another Forge Ahead book. That's nice. You can search the trash piles and stuff. You just can't. Nothing. Just can't actually pick anything up. There's a chemistry station. Oh my gosh, that's good stuff there. That's a good chemistry station. Make sure you hang on to beakers. You definitely need those. I know in the alphas, some of the shelves and stuff were searchable. May not be the case now.
Get lost, bum.
And we're gonna talk to friendly old Rex.
I'm gonna have to pay you now that you did it.
He's gonna give us a shovel. And click on special jobs. This is another little intro.
Just a job for a word of advice. Next time, bathe before coming to a job interview.
We're gonna search for buried supplies. Anyway, what I was saying before. The clothes were, they'd give you your bonuses against the elements. They've done away with clothes in the full release. Well, he's only got, there it is. So protection from the elements is going to, I'm assuming, is going to have to come from mods you can put on the armor. Some of the armor may have bonuses too. We'll learn about that one together. And as you can see, the wooden club is pretty terrible, but adding those bonuses early is definitely going to help me get through some of these spots. Oh my, I got a big boy. This guy has a lot of hit points. This guy, the biker, the cop, any of them you come across early, probably be a good idea just to try to avoid them, just because they are sponges, as you can see, and they take forever to kill. So we're going to head over here. We'll get to the buried treasure. And I think that will probably do it for episode 1. Start of episode 2, we'll dig that guy up and see what we get. I would assume it's going to be some food, but it's buried treasure. I will mention that the burnt forest biome is back. They removed it several alphas ago. And I'm kind of glad. I kind of missed it. Alright, here's the one. To end the episode, we're going to get the honey. Here it comes. I am a liar. And that might be another one they made. They may have changed the drop rate to make with the full release to make it a little more challenging on that honey. But this would not be the first time when I'm doing playthroughs. About the hardest time to try to find honey of those is when I don't have any. After that, it shows up all the time. So we have arrived at the very first quest. I'm going to go ahead and end this recording here, and we'll pick up here for episode 2. I appreciate you guys joining me in this little adventure. I hope this is going to be helpful for you. Please throw there in the comments. I'm not going to do, I'll do a few episodes at a time, but I'm not going to get too far ahead. So throw your comments in there, ask your questions. I'll read through them and I'll try to answer them in the future videos as I see it, because I know there's a lot of this that's going to be muscle memory for me, so I might glaze over some facts that you guys need an answer to. So feel free to ask questions in there, and we'll see you next time.